to come then, we can go on to the reading. And do you want to finish with japa as well? We can stay a little bit longer for the japa session and do one round together. Does that sound okay for everyone? Yeah? So have your japa beads ready?
Let me go and get my beads.
Yep, I just happen to have my beads here. Does everyone have japa beads? I assume everyone has japa beads. I'll just wait for everyone to return and then we'll do the Dhammadastakam. Is anyone else who's volunteering to read? We've got Jay Prakash Prabhu, Shamrani, Mataji. Anyone else who would like to read a paragraph, please put your name. Number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bimal. Okay, Bimal, you can be number 3. Put down number 3.
Great.
Read the third paragraph.
Sorry, just want to clarify because I haven't come prepared. What are we? I know we're reading a Krishna book. Where are we in it?
Okay, we're just starting a new chapter actually. The killing of Denakasura, which is chapter number 15.
Okay, 15. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know how many of you had experience of doing kirtan over Zoom. It's not the best. There's usually lag. Huh?
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's not the best. There's usually a lag of a couple of seconds. The first kirtan I did for Zoom was in March, end of March. So it was right at the beginning of lockdown. And we did a Vyasa Puja ceremony at my home for Jayapataka Swami. And so we did Guru Puja Kirtan, and it was really, really difficult. It's like I was playing the mridanga, and then someone else was in another place playing the cartels, and they were like so far behind me. I was getting really, really confused. Yeah. And then halfway we just, like, after a few lines we had to stop everything and say no. Okay, let's figure out how we can do this. Anyway, so times have moved on since then. I think the easiest thing to do is if I do the kirtan here with my harmonium, and if you will have the Dhammadastakam and you can sing on mute. But please do sing as if you're actually singing as part of the kirtan, as part of the group. Yeah?
Good.
Although it will be just you, we have to hear yourself and me. I'll just sing straight through it. I'm not going to do sing and response because I won't hear any of you. Okay? So I'll just sing straight through it once. So I'll just sing every line once. And we'll just go straight through the Dhammadastakam that way. Okay? Maybe what we can do, is everyone familiar with Dhammadastakam? Actually, if we could just show your hands who is not familiar with Dhammadastakam, it's okay if you're not. Okay, so at least I can see two devotees who are not familiar. And that's okay. Have you got the Dhammadastakam words with you? It's called Damodar Astakam. You can find it on Google. The Dhammadastakam lyrics or song word. I'll just type it in the chat so you can copy it out of here. Dhammadastakam is the song we're going to sing. While you're finding it, maybe we can just read the translation. I don't know why it's a tradition in ISKCON to read the translation after you sing the song. I always find that kind of weird because it's like, oh, that's what that means, you know, after 10 minutes of singing. So my preference is to read first, and then we can understand better what the song means, then sing it. So I can start by just reading. To the Supreme Lord, whose form is the embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge and bliss, whose shark-shaped earrings are swinging to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokul, who I, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter, and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from a swing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda, but who has been caught from behind by her who ran after him with greater speed. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances. 2. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his 2 lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, whose belly is bound not with ropes, but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances. 3. By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokul in pools of ecstasy, and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence, that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is freed from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodar hundreds and hundreds of times. 4. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor for the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours, as Bal Gopal in Vrindavan, may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use to me of any other boon besides this? 5. O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are no use to me. 6. O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you. O Damodar, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me. By showering your glance of mercy upon me, deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows, and become visible to my eyes. 7. O Lord Damodar, just as the 2 sons of Kuber, Manigriva and Nal Kuvera, were delivered from the curse of Narad, and made into great devotees by you, in your form as a baby, tied with a rope to a wooden grinding mortar. In the same way, please, give me your own prema bhakti. I only long for this and have no other desire, and have no desire for any kind of liberation. 8. O Lord Damodar, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. So this is Damodar Astakam, which we'll sing now. So I'll just request you to sing while on mute, and I'll sing once through the whole song. Asatkundalam gokule brajamanam Yashodabhiyolukaladevamanam Paramristamadyantato drutya gopya Rudantamahurnetra yugmam rijantam Karamboja yugmena satankanetram Muhusvasakam patri rekakakanta Sthitadevam damodaram bhaktibalam Iti drikshalilabhiranandakunde Swargosham nimajantamagyapayantam Tadiye sita yensu bhakte jitatvam Puna prema kastam sata vritti vande Varam deva moksham na moksham vadim va Na chanyam vrindeham vareshadapiha Idam te vapurnatha gopalabala Sadame manasya virastam kimanye Idam te maghambojam adyantanile Vritam kuntale snigdha rakascha gopya Muhushchummitam bimba ratadaram Manasya virasta malam lakshalabhe Namo Devo Dhammo Darananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodhaka Jalabdimagnam Kripadristi Vrishchati Dinamratanu Vihaneshamamagnya Medya Dakshidrishchai Kuveratmajo Bada Mujayvayadvat Tvaya Mojito Bhakti Pajakrito Cha Tata Prema Bhakti Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Grahome Stidamodare Namaste Sudamne Spura Dipnidamne Tvadiya Radaya Tavishasya Damne Namo Radhikaya Tadiya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Shri Shri Yashoda Damodar Ki Jai. I hope that came through okay.
Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thanks, everyone. Okay. So we're ready to begin Krishna book. We're starting from chapter 15, the killing of Dhenukasura. So we're in a new chapter. So let's get straight into it with Jai Prakash Prabhu.
Chapter 15, the killing of Dhenukasura. In this way, Sri Krishna, along with his elder brother Balram, passed the childhood age known as Kumara and stepped into the age of Purganda from the 6th year up to the 10th. At that time, all the cowherd men conferred and agreed to give those boys who had passed their 5th year charge of the cows on the pasturing grounds. Given charge of the cows, Krishna and Balram traverse Vrindavan, purifying the land with their lotus footprints.
Okay. So according to this Vedic psychology, the psychology of a child develops from 0 to 5, and then from 5 to 10 is a different kind of psychology of the child. So the first age is called Komar, and the second age bracket from 5 plus is called Paugand. Yeah. So Krishna has now entered into this Paugand age group because he's just passed his 5th year, which means he's had his 5th birthday. In the West we say 5th birthday, but India they count 1st year of birth, like what we call 0, say 6 months or up to 1 year. They call that 1st year. In India generally that's how it is. So here Krishna has passed his 5th year. He's now 5 years old and something months. And so it's said in psychology, in the Vedic psychology, that the intelligence begins to develop. So in the Komar, up to 5 years old, it's recommended that the children are not disciplined at all. Children shouldn't be disciplined at all until the beginning of 5 years old. Reason why is because the intelligence in our Vedic psychology, when we read Bhagavad Gita, we understand we have mind, intelligence, and false ego, isn't it? Are we familiar with these 3 terms? The mind, the intelligence, and the false ego. Krishna repeatedly talks about the subtle body in this way. So the subtle body hasn't fully developed for a child, which is why there's so much innocence in the children, especially under 5. Then from 5, the intelligence begins to develop. And what that means is the children, intelligence means one knows what to do and what not to do. One knows what is right and what is wrong. So that only begins from age 5. Before age 5, it's very much, only understanding is what I like and what I don't like. So the mind is developing up to 5. So it's quite a significant thing when, first, of course, when we are trying to understand something for ourselves, like, am I acting because of my mind, because I like something or dislike something, or I'm acting out of intelligence because I know what is right, what is wrong? It's 2 very different things, isn't it? I could like something, but it may not be right. I could dislike something, but and it could also be wrong, So there's a difference there. So when the children get to that age, they're able to understand what to do and what not to do, and therefore they've been given charge of the cows. Now, because up till now, Krishna and Balaram have been looking after calves with the boys. So we can see how well trained they are, because 5 years old and they're looking after cows. So really, they're very well trained, isn't it? Does anyone else would like to comment or ask questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Smita.
Krishna, Smita Mataji.
Hello, I'm very sorry I'm a bit late.
Okay.
Could you just, I know we're on chapter, because I even lost my iPad, so is it on chapter 15?
Yes, just at the first paragraph.
First paragraph, thank you.
Yeah, because we started with the Damodar Astaka prayers.
Yeah.
So we started the reading a little bit late.
Oh, I'm sorry I'm late.
No problem. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Okay, unless there's any comments or questions, we could continue. Who's the next reader now?
About the children.
Yeah.
So what would it be in current age? Like, what age should we be telling our children? Up to what age should we not scold them or not? or how should we scold them if they're on the level of, if they're subtle, what you said, you explained it well, better than I can even repeat. But if this not develop this part of this conditioning, then what age should we not scold them, and how do we make sure that we remind ourselves not to scold them because it's not their fault?
Okay. So because the development of the subtle body can happen at the same time as the development of the physical body. It's not the at the same time, every child is, on one level, every child is different, right? Not all the children develop physically at the same pace. Not all of them develop mentally at the same pace. So they're it's kind of groupings. So you have to see for an individual child how they are, of course. And at the same time, it's not like in the former ages, people develop differently to how they develop now. Just that the training was better than in the previous times. So the psychology would still develop in the same way. So it would still be generally up to around 5 years old that the intelligence has not kicked in, has not started developing. So it's said that the children, when they're up to 5, predominantly they just understand love. They just need so much love and attention and affection. And based on that, they follow what they need to do. If they're given a lot of love, then they'll follow. Then from 5, when that love has been there, then they're more willing to listen to what to do and what not to do, because the loving attachment has already been developed strongly. And then from 5 to 10, they can be disciplined, or they can be told, no, you shouldn't do this, or yes, you should do this. They can be told that very directly, where appropriate, of course. And then it's said that from when adolescence begins, say 12 years old, then the mode and the psychology changes again. The ego, the sense of self-identity becomes more strong. And that's why adolescence is a very difficult age, because children, those adolescents, those teenagers are trying to get their sense of self-identity, isn't it? We see that. So that's when the psychology changes again, and the child is treated more like a friend. So correcting children shouldn't really happen during adolescence, because then you get a rebellious nature of the child or the teen. So that's where again the psychology changes to being a friend, because you have a certain time span which you can give that correction, but then that has to be stopped at a certain point. And then it said that if you befriend the child, then that attachment to the parents remains strong. Then you don't get so much rebellion from the teenage years. So hope that's helpful.
Thank you.
So many books have been written about this from the Vedic viewpoint. You can check some of those out, or I can maybe send some in the group if I get a reminder towards the end. So they're very interesting. Very deep subject matter, actually. We can continue unless there's any questions. We can have the next reader, who I think is Shyamrani Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Accompanied by the cowherd boys and Balram, Krishna brought forward the cows and played on his flute through the forest of Vrindavan, which was full of flowers, vegetables, and pasturing grass. The Vrindavan forest was so sanctified as the clear mind of a devotee, and was full of bees, flowers, and fruits. There were chirping birds and clear water lakes with waters that could relieve one of all fatigues. Sweet-flavored breeze blew, always refreshing the mind and body. Krishna, with his friends and Balram, entered the forest and, seeing the favorable situation, enjoyed the atmosphere to the fullest extent. Krishna saw all the trees overloaded with fruits and fresh twigs, coming down to touch the ground as if welcoming him by touching his lotus feet. He was very pleased by the behavior of the trees, fruits, and flowers, and he began to smile, realizing their desires. Beautiful.
It's very beautiful. Would anyone like to share some points from here, which you liked in particular? I found it how interesting how Krishna actually herds cows. You know? Because we think like herding cows is often we see, like, I don't know if you've seen herding cows, they run around with a stick and, you know, and they chase the cows like that. Krishna does have a stick, by the way, but it's explained here how he's herding the cows. He's playing his flute. By playing the flute, the cows are moving according to his direction. So Krishna brought forward the cows and played on his flute as they entered the forest. Huh? So by playing the flute, the cows are going. It's very sweet. Anyone else want to share anything from paragraph here?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Here it says, where it says Krishna saw the trees overloaded with fruits and bending the ground like touching his lotus feet. So even the trees and even they could sense that Krishna was there and they wanted to touch his feet, lotus feet.
Yeah, that's right. That's amazing, isn't it? So it said that everything in Vrindavan, in the spiritual, everything is fully spiritual. Everything is fully, what it means, what spiritual means, everything is fully conscious. Everything is fully awake, aware. So even the trees, they were fully aware that Krishna was present, Balaram was present. So that's really amazing. So here, in the material world, is opposite of the spiritual world, because we're not very aware. We're not self-aware, first of all. We're aware in that we think we are this material body, we think we're the body, but we're not spiritually, we're not even self-aware. We don't even really know who is the real I, who is the self, the soul. But in the other extreme, in the spiritual world, even the trees are fully Krishna conscious. They're fully conscious and fully aware. So yeah, this is their behavior. They're giving respect to Krishna, even the trees. And so here, there's also a comparison made between Vrindavan and the clear mind of the devotee in the beginning part of the paragraph. So we can understand from this that if one has a clear mind, clear consciousness, then that's where Krishna will come and reside. Krishna resides in a clean heart. Yeah. So Vrindavan is not only a physical place, but Vrindavan can also be carried in the heart of the devotee. Just like Prabhupada, physically he left Vrindavan, but spiritually he never left Vrindavan. In fact, spiritually he carried Vrindavan with him everywhere and made everywhere into Vrindavan also. Such was the power of Srila Prabhupada's pure mind, pure heart. Okay, we can have our next reader, unless anyone likes to comment further. Who's the next reader? Is it gonna be Vimal?
Krishna then spoke to his elder brother Balaram as follows: "My dear brother, you are superior to all of us, and your lotus feet are worshipped by the demigods. Just see how these trees, full with fruits and flowers, have bent down to worship your lotus feet. It appears that they are trying to get out of the darkness that has obliged them to accept the form of trees. Actually, the trees born in the land of Vrindavan are not ordinary living entities. Having held the impersonal point of view in their past lives, they have been put into this stationary condition of life. But now they have the opportunity of seeing you in Vrindavan, and they are praying for further advancement in spiritual life through your personal association. Generally, living entities in the mode of darkness obtain the bodies of trees. The impersonalist philosophers are in that darkness, but they eradicate it by taking full advantage of your presence. I think the drones that are buzzing all around you must have been your devotees in the past lives. They cannot leave your company because no one can be a better, more affectionate master than you. You are the supreme and original personality of Godhead. And the drones are just trying to spread your glories by chanting at every moment. I think some of them must be great sages, devotees of your Lordship, and they are disguising themselves in this form of drones because they are unable to give up your company even for a moment. My dear brother, you are the supreme worshipable Godhead. Just see how the peacocks are dancing before you in great ecstasy. The deer, whose behavior is just like that of the gopis, are welcoming you with the same affection, and the cuckoos who are residing in this forest are welcoming you with their joyful, sweet cries, because they consider that your appearance in their home is so auspicious. Even though they are trees and animals, these residents of Vrindavan are glorifying you. They are prepared to welcome you to the best of their abilities, as is the practice of great souls in receiving another great soul at home. As for the land, it is so pious and fortunate because the footprints of your lotus feet are marking its body.
Thank you for that reading. No problem. So who is speaking to who here? Can anyone call that out? Just call it out. You don't need to raise your hand. Don't be shy.
Balram, Krishna's elder brother, is speaking to Krishna.
Are you sure? Want to double check?
Krishna is speaking to Balaram.
Yeah.
Krishna is speaking to Balaram. Yes, Krishna is speaking to Balaram here. Thanks.
Oh.
So this is going to be a chapter all about Lord Balaram, actually. You know.
So Krishna is glorifying Balram.
That's right. Yeah. And in fact, this whole chapter, as we'll soon find out, is going to be about Balaram consciousness. For anyone who likes Balaram. And Krishna is giving examples of 4 different personalities, 4 different types of, let's say, species or personalities who are worshipping Balaram. Yeah? I counted 4 at least. So who were those 4? Can anyone say? Who was the first?
Sorry. So by species, so like the fruits and the flowers is one of them that are, is that what you mean?
Yeah, like that. There were different species mentioned. So who was the first one? The first types of people, the first type of personality in the form of?
Trees.
Yeah, trees. Then after that, who was mentioned after that?
The drones.
Drones. Yeah, what are drones?
Small bees.
They're like bees, yeah. I think not everybody, we don't normally say the word drones, but yeah, they're like bees. And then after that?
The deer.
Oh, just before the deer?
Peacocks.
Peacocks, yeah. Okay, so that's 3. Actually, there's more than 4. Okay, and then next was the deer. And then?
Cuckoos.
And then the cuckoos, yeah. So very wonderful meditation, huh?
Mm.
So often we see pictures of Krishna. In fact, we never see Krishna alone. We often see pictures of Krishna with different types of people, with either with animals or with humans and so on. So even with different animals, Krishna has different kinds of interactions. Krishna or Balaram will have different kind of interactions. So it's very nicely detailed in this paragraph, isn't it? How those interactions are. Even detailed to the point of explaining why there's certain personalities who are trees in Vrindavan. Why is that? So why did some of these trees bow down to Krishna? What kind of realization did they have, or how was they in their previous lives?
So they were in the mode of darkness. So they are the impersonalists, and they've realized, and therefore now they are bowing down to Krishna to get his mercy, so that they can progress in their spiritual life.
That's right, yeah. So it's understood from the Vedic literatures there are 2 types of spiritualist, isn't it? There's one type who is impersonal realized, and then there's one who is personally realized that God is a person, a supreme person, supreme being. So of the 2, the impersonal is inferior and the personalist is the superior. And therefore the trees are praying for further advancement. They're praying to go from impersonal to personal. And there's so many examples of this in throughout the literatures, where devotees such as the 4 Kumaras who were impersonal, they came to Vaikuntha and then they realized that God is a person. They smelled the tulsi leaves on his lotus feet and they realized, wow, God's a person. The 4 Kumaras became devotees like that. Sukadev Goswami, as he was wandering through the forest, he heard the Bhagavatam spoken in his ear by different students, disciples of his father Vyasadev, and he became a personalist. He became self-realized personalist in that way. And then he spoke the Bhagavatam. And so there's many examples. I'm just picking a couple. But there's a clue given here about how to progress in spiritual life. And it's analogous to the trees. Because the trees, or let's say the impersonalists, are generally very heavy with knowledge. They're very much into Jnana Kanda. They're very much into studying scripture, having a lot of knowledge. So these fruits represent the knowledge. They are heavy with knowledge, different fruits, different limbs of knowledge, different subjects of knowledge. So what we should understand from this is when someone has a great deal of knowledge, or if they're truly knowledgeable, then they should be humble. These trees were heavy with fruits and they were bowing down because of the weight of the fruits. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vidya Vinaya Sampane, that a sage who is humble and wise, Vidya Vinaya, who is humble and wise. Because someone who is truly wise realizes that this is not my knowledge. I was born ignorant, and everything has been, all this knowledge has been given to me. It's all the gift of God. So you can see here that they are of good character still, because they're acknowledging that. And therefore, as Krishna appreciates all these different types of personalities, he says in the last sentence, not in the last sentence, sorry. He says how all these types of people are, they're all great souls. All these great souls are welcoming Krishna to the best of their ability. So all of these different animals and plants, they're all great souls. Yeah. Does anyone like to share anything further?
So here it says the drones are disguising. They're devotees and disguised like the drones because they want to be around Lord Balaram.
Yeah, it's nice you picked that up. It's quite a sweet thing, huh?
Yeah.
Can imagine there's kind of like a group of sages and they're kind of sitting, and then Balaram comes along, so they all with their yogic power turn into drones, into bees, and just swarm towards him. Not in the material world, when we see a swarm of bees, we're just like run away. But here it's a spiritual world. The bees are not there to sting or to harm, but they're just coming, and their buzzing is like the sounds of the Vedas. They're coming and they're glorifying Krishna with hymns. They're buzzing sounds like hymns. So it's very, very sweet. And they're disguised because they don't want to disturb him. They want to just be close to him. They want to be close to Lord Balaram. Yeah. That's a nice point, huh? Thank you.
Thank you. Just one more question.
Okay.
Why are peacocks a favorite? I mean, why does Lord Krishna wear a peacock feather, or they are Krishna's favorite or something?
Yeah, why does Krishna favor peacocks so much? It's a good question, isn't it? Has anyone else wondered that before? Yeah. Okay, I also wondered that as well. I heard from one devotee. I've not personally seen any references in scripture myself, but I've heard from devotees before that the peacock is a unique animal. There's female and male peacock. It's actually the male peacock that we see who has the very attractive feathers and the very beautiful form. That's actually the male peacock, and the female peacock hasn't got these features, which is very interesting. So generally it's known that the female form is more attractive than the male form in most species of life, except in this peacock feature. And it's also understood that the peacocks have very low sex drive. They have very less sex desire. So the male peacock is extraordinarily beautiful, but he's not a very lusty animal also. So Krishna appreciates that, that they are more, that you can say in one way, sense controlled. And so they dance very attractively. And these peacocks in particular, they're dancing for Krishna. They're not dancing for their own lusty desire. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Thank you.
So we should be like peacock. We should not be very lusty, but we should try to attract the attention of Krishna. So we can move on to the next reader now. Who would like to read next? Oh, we only have a few readers, don't we? Sorry, I thought we'd all put in numbers. Would anyone like to read next? Yeah? Okay, go ahead, Kirti Kamataji. You're on mute at the moment.
It is quite natural for these Vrindavan inhabitants to thus receive a great personality like you. The herbs, creepers, and plants are also so fortunate to touch your lotus feet. And by your touching the twigs with your hands, these small plants are also made glorious. As for the hills and the rivers, they too are now glorious because you are glancing at them. Above all, the damsels of Raja, the gopis, attracted by your beauty, are the most glorious because You embrace them with your strong arms.
So you can see how different all these different types of personalities are there in Vrindavan, isn't it? Like we discussed. And Lord Krishna is glorifying Lord Balaram, because Lord Balaram, he's reciprocating the love with everybody. Yeah. Okay, we can continue unless anyone has questions or comments. Would you like to read another one, Mataji?
Yes. Yeah. In this way, both Lord Krishna and Balram began to enjoy the residence of Vrindavan to their full satisfaction, along with the calves and calves on the bank of Yamuna. In some places, both Krishna and Balram were accompanied by their friends. The boys were singing, imitating the humming sound of the drones, and accompanying Krishna and Balram, who were garlanded with forest flowers. While walking, the boys sometimes imitated the quacking sounds of the swans in the lakes, or when they saw the peacocks dancing, they imitated them before Krishna. Krishna also moved his neck, imitating the dancing and making his friends laugh.
So you see here how I thought it's interesting how Prabhupada writes in the first sentence, Lord Krishna and Balaram began to enjoy the residence of Vrindavan to their full satisfaction. So it wasn't that they had to actually go to work, let's say, like how we have to go and work. They didn't have to go and work and look after cows like it was their job, you know, and then get the milk and then sell the milk products, you know. It wasn't that type of work. They're actually enjoying what they were doing so much. In particular, Prabhupada writes, enjoying the residence of Vrindavan. So everyone in Vrindavan is serving in such a way that Krishna is pleased by their activities. So this is very significant, that if we want to go to somewhere, right, we have to adopt the attitudes of the people in that place we go, isn't it? If you go to, say, foreign country, it's expected you will adopt the customs and the language and the characteristics, the behavior patterns of the people who live there, isn't it? You know, if I was going to go to, I don't know, Egypt or something, you know, then I would have to adopt a certain different type of behavior. And then that's kind of the expectation, yeah? So in the same way, if we want to shape our lives in such a way that we go back to Krishna at the end of this life, and we all have to end this life at some point, we all have to finish this material body at some point. So we should all be trying to practice how to shape our lives, our attitudes, our behavior in a way that is serving Krishna, like the residents of Vrindavan, following in the footsteps of the residents of Vrindavan. So this is exactly what Krishna and Balaram, they're enjoying the residents of Vrindavan, because the residents of Vrindavan are there to serve them. So we have nice months like the month of Kartik, where we can especially make this our single-pointed endeavor, isn't it? The Purushottam month, the Kartik month, so wonderful opportunities. Does anyone else like to share from here? Otherwise, it'd be nice if some more devotees would volunteer to read. Jay Prakash Prabhu, would you like to go again?
Yeah, okay, I don't mind.
Thank you.
Okay. The cows taken care of by Krishna had different names, and Krishna would call them with love. After hearing Krishna calling, the cows would immediately respond by mooing, and the boys would enjoy the exchange to their heart's content. They would all imitate the sound vibrations made by the different kinds of birds, especially the takoras, peacocks, cuckoos, and Pradvajas. Sometimes when they would see the weaker animals fleeing out of fear of the sounds of tigers and lions, the boys along with Krishna and Balaram would imitate the animals and run away with them. When they felt some fatigue, they would sit down. Balaram would put his head on the lap of one of the boys just to take rest. Krishna would immediately come and begin massaging the legs of Balaram. And sometimes Krishna would take a palm fan and fan the body of Balaram, causing a pleasing breeze to relieve him of his fatigue. Other boys would sometimes dance or sing while Balaram took rest, and sometimes they would wrestle amongst themselves or jump. When the boys were thus engaged, Krishna would immediately join them. And catching their hands, he would enjoy their company and laugh and praise their activities. When Krishna would feel tired and fatigued, he would sometimes take shelter of the root of a big tree or the lap of a cowherd boy and lie down. When he would lie down with a boy or a root as his pillow, some of the boys would come and massage his legs, and some would fan his body with a fan made from leaves. Some of the more talented boys would sing in very sweet voices to please him. Thus, very soon his fatigue would go away. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, whose legs are tended by the goddess of fortune, shared himself with the cowherd boys as one of them, expanding his internal potency to appear exactly like the village boy. But despite his appearing just like a village boy, there were occasions when he proved himself to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes men pose themselves as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and cheat innocent people. But they can only cheat. They cannot exhibit the potency of God.
Oh, powerful way to end there. By Srila Prabhupada, huh? From the beginning of this paragraph, one thing I found interesting was how Krishna had different names for the cows. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Krishna has like tens and thousands of cows, actually, you know, and they've all got a name. They've all got different names, of course. And Krishna, not only did they all have different names, Krishna knew their names. And not only did Krishna know their names, but he would call them, each and every one of them, every day. So you can imagine practically all day Krishna was calling these tens and thousands of cows by their names. Apart from playing the flute for them, he was calling them with the names. Sometimes it's said that, you know, so we have our japa mala, right? We have our beads. And we're chanting Krishna's name on the beads, isn't it? Sometimes it's understood that even Krishna has japa beads. Yeah, because how does he know all the cows are there? Krishna's got tens of thousands of cows. He's chanting on his beads the names of the cows, so he knows, okay, I've been around, this is this group of cows, this is this group of cows. I've chanted my 16 rounds, that okay, all the cows are there. So, but Krishna is chanting with pure love, affectionately calling each and every one of those cows individually. So much love Krishna has for his cows. So it's extraordinary. Another thing mentioned here is the chakora birds, the different kind of birds mentioned here. Some of these birds, they don't even have an English translation, English name. Chakoras, peacocks, cuckoos, and bharadvajas. Huh? Chakora is a kind of bird of Vrindavan. It's very interesting that this bird, it has a thirst. When it has a thirst for water, it doesn't take water from the ground. or doesn't take water from a body of water, a river or lake or puddle, if it has a thirst, it only takes water when it rains. It only takes water directly from the raindrops. This type of bird. It's been noted that this bird only drinks from the raindrops which are coming from the sky. So it puts its beak up and is drinking the water. So he said that we should be like this Chakora bird. We should be thirsty for Krishna only, exclusively, directly. Or we should be thirsty for Lord Balaram. Because Balaram, Ram, means pleasure. We chant Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah? So we chant Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Krishna means Krishna. Ram also means Balaram, Prabhupada says. In the beginning of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Prabhupada explains in that way, in the introduction. So we should know that the Lord is the source of all bliss. Rama means pleasure or bliss. So we should be like this Chakora bird, in the sense that it only takes pleasure directly from the source. It only takes water directly from the source of the water, the rain. So it's said that we should be like this bird because we should only accept pleasure directly from Lord. We should only give pleasure to Lord and accept pleasure from the Lord. So that's something about the Chakora birds. Just as we were reading from the previous paragraph about how the residents of Vrindavan, how they serve, their whole ethos, their whole goal in life is to serve. We can also see, I counted 10 ways in which the devotees would serve Lord Balaram. Here. How the boys, they would serve Balaram. So these are very practical things, you know. So we can read these things here. So can you see some of those from the top? What was the first one is when they felt some fatigue, they would sit down. So they would sit down first of all with Lord Balaram. So they would serve him in that way first of all. Then what else? Can you call those out after that? Everyone can join in.
Sometimes take a palm fan and fan the body of Balaram.
Yeah, they would fan Lord Balaram. Yeah.
They would massage his feet as well.
Massaging his feet, yeah.
They would entertain him by dancing.
Dancing is one, yeah. Or?
By wrestling, jumping around.
Wrestling, jumping.
Singing.
Singing, yeah. And they would also, anything else? They would massage his legs. They would laugh with him and praise him. Mm-hmm. So, and Lord Balaram is a representative of, the spiritual master represents Lord Balaram. So these are different kinds of ways which we can offer service to the spiritual master, to Srila Prabhupada, or to our own respective spiritual master. Even Krishna himself, this is Krishna himself, he's performing these services along with the boys to Lord Balaram. And in the next and then towards the end of this paragraph, then they're also reciprocating with Krishna in the same way. They would come and massage Krishna and so on. So Krishna serves the devotees and the devotees serve Krishna. And so this is the mood of the spiritual world which we want to practice. And we can do that very easily by serving devotees. Not only the spiritual master, we can accept service towards any devotee. And you see all these things, they are like so pleasing pleasing. Does anyone else like to comment or question here? Who could read next? Rasa Vallabhi Mataji?
Sure, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, okay, thank you. While Krishna was thus engaged in his transcendental pastimes, exhibiting his internal potency in the company of the supermost fortunate cowherd boys, there occurred another chance for him to exhibit the superhuman powers of Godhead. His most intimate friends, Sridham, Subal, and Stoke Krishna, addressed Krishna and Balram with great love and affection thus: Dear Balram, you are very powerful. Your arms are very strong. Dear Krishna, you are very expert in killing all kinds of disturbing demons. Will you kindly note that just near this place, there is a big forest of the name of Talavan. This forest is full of palm trees, and all the trees are filled with fruits. Some have fallen down, and some are very ripe even in the trees. It is a very nice place, but because of a great demon, Dinukasura, it is very difficult to go there. No one can reach the trees to collect the fruits. Dear Krishna and Balram, this demon is present there in the form of an ass, and he is surrounded by similar demon friends who have assumed the same shape. All of them are very strong, so it is very difficult to approach this place. Dear brothers, you are the only persons who can kill such demons. Other than you, no one can go there for fear of being killed. Not even animals go there. And no birds are living there. They have all left. One can only appreciate the sweet aroma that is coming from that place. It appears that up until now, no one has tasted the sweet fruits there, either on the tree or on the ground. Dear Krishna, to tell you frankly, we are very attracted by this sweet aroma. Dear Balram, if you like, let us all go there and enjoy these fruits. The aroma of the fruits is now spread everywhere. Don't you smell it from here?
Thank you, Rasa Vallabhi Mataji. Reading nicely. So these are the friends of Krishna and Balaram speaking, isn't it? So we often hear about Krishna has 8 principal girlfriends, known as the Ashtashakhi. Yeah. So Krishna also has 8 principal boyfriends as well, cowherd boyfriends. So Ashtasakhas. So here 3 of them are mentioned: Sridham, Subal, Stoka Krishna, and then there's many others as well. I found this very interesting because this is how they're addressing Krishna. This is how they speak, how they interact with Krishna through their words. With great love and affection, Prabhupada says. So I don't know about you, but sometimes when I go to temple and you're there in front of the deities and you see the beautiful form of Krishna, Krishna Balaram or Radha Krishna, or whichever deity of Krishna may be, Jagannath. I don't know, you go sometimes in front of the deities and you like, okay, I don't know what to say. Anyone have that experience? I have that experience. You know, how do I pray to Krishna? Sometimes it's just very like, you know, just like, I don't know, Krishna, please let me have your service. Krishna, you look very beautiful today. You know, sometimes we're not habituated in how to communicate with Krishna, how to pray to God. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. So I picked up 8 points from this paragraph and how they develop a desire or to make a request to Krishna. Would you like to go through these? Yeah? Okay, let's go. So number 1, their request came with great love and affection. Actually, maybe we can start by what was their request? What were they requesting Krishna? Can anyone say?
To go and taste the fruits that nobody has tasted. It's very sweet.
That's right, yeah. So it's good to establish that first, what they're praying for. See, because they're all exalted devotees. They're personally friends with Krishna. So they can ask Krishna anything. It's important to understand. So actually, what we consider praying to Krishna, just by their talking to Krishna, they're also communicating with, they're also praying to Krishna. So you can see on one level that they're just, friends having a chat. But actually, they are requesting Krishna. They're making requests to Krishna in a very wonderful way, in a very prayerful way, actually, you can say. So it's with great love and affection. Is number 1. So then, when they begin to speak, they glorify Krishna. They glorify. Number 2 is they're glorifying. Dear Balaram, you're very powerful. Your arms are very strong. Krishna, you're very expert in killing demons. So they offer some praise. They're glorifying first. They don't just say, all right, mate, let's go and get the fruits over there. But they actually come and they glorify Krishna. Then number 3, they say, will you kindly note that just near this place, there's a big forest named Talavan. So they're making observation that, Krishna, I want to draw your attention to this. This specific thing is happening. Yeah. And they're explaining that now they're bringing Krishna into what's going on. Some of the fruits have fallen. It's a very nice place and there's a demon there. Yeah. So Krishna's, the friends are explaining that there's a problem. Now they're bringing the problem in. Yeah. Not like, this person hurt me, Krishna, help. No, but they're first glorifying, appreciating Krishna for who he is, appreciating Balaram for who he is. And they're bringing attention to something which is on their mind. Then they're saying that there's some difficulty, they're having a problem with this demon, Dhenukasura. So no one can go there. So then what it means, not for themselves, they're not praying actually for themselves, but they're saying no one can go there. Not even the animals, and no one else can go there also. No one can reach the trees to collect the fruits. So it's actually selfless, their request. Not only asking for themselves. So they're saying these demons are very strong. And you are the only persons who can kill such demons. This is the next thing. So they're acknowledging actually, only you can help Krishna. So if someone says to you, you're the only one who could do this, then you feel a little more obliged, right? They've glorified you. They brought something to your attention. They've said, there's a problem in this area, and you're the only person who can help. Would you not feel obliged to do something then? Yeah? So you are the only persons who can kill such demons. But why? Because everyone else is fearful of being killed. And then nobody has tasted these sweet fruits, and they're saying now they're giving their desire at the end. They're saying that to tell you frankly, we're very attracted by this sweet aroma. And Prabhupada mentions elsewhere that the boys, they actually wanted Krishna and Balaram to enjoy the fruits. But they're saying that they're attracted because they want Krishna to enjoy. They won't say, Krishna, you kill the demons and you'll have a nice time enjoying the fruits there. Because that's not their mood. As we read already, we've already established that Krishna and Balaram are there to enjoy everything in Vrindavan already. And the residents of Vrindavan know that. So they have that culture, that attitude. So they're not saying presenting it for themselves, but they're saying we want to enjoy, meaning Krishna, you're amongst us. So we all want to enjoy together. And so then they put their desire. Because when we ask Krishna for something, we should ask in a way that we can do something to serve him. Yeah, although we want to do the activity, we should want to do it for Krishna's pleasure. Want to offer it, make something into an offering for Krishna. And then finally they say, so the aroma of the fruit is now spread everywhere. Don't you smell it from here? So of course Krishna would want to do something after such a loving address, isn't it? Affectionate words. Yeah. So that was my reading of this. Anyone like to add any comments or questions?
Actually, I have a question.
Okay.
So this Dinakshura, in the form of an ass, what does he represent? Because you mentioned once that all asuras are some form of anarthas.
Okay. Dhenukasura is the form of a donkey, you know. So actually I had researched it before, but I've forgotten now. Let me see if I have my notes.
Could it be greediness because they don't want anybody else to taste the fruits or something like that?
So Dhenukasura, I don't have my notes with me right now, but he represents, oh here it is, represents ignorance of knowledge of the soul through gross materialistic intelligence. So he's it's significant that he's in the form of a donkey, you know, because donkeys, they work hard. They're made to work very hard. So someone who gains a lot of intelligence in this world, they end up working very hard for themselves, you know. So that knowledge of this world isn't very important, but they make it out to be all important. So actually the knowledge itself isn't true knowledge. So it's basically a foolish waste of time.
Bit like us, Prabhuji.
And then it's also mentioned about the past life of Dhenukasura, which might be interesting. But I can come on to that a bit later on. I'll save that for later on. So just remind me if I forget to mention before the end of the pastime about how Dhenukasura came about. Okay, thanks for your question, Kirtika Mataji. Is anyone else going to volunteer? We have Priti Mataji reading as well. Would you like to read now, Priti Mataji?
Sure. When Balaram and Krishna were thus petitioned by their intimate friends, they were inclined to please them, and with smiling faces they proceeded toward the forest, surrounded by all their friends. Immediately upon entering the Talavan, Balaram began to yank the trees with his arms, exhibiting the strength of an elephant. Because of this jerking, all the ripe fruits fell down on the ground. Upon hearing the sound of the falling fruits, the demon Dhenukasura, who was living there in the form of an ass, approached with great force, shaking the whole field so that all the trees moved as if there were an earthquake. The demon appeared before Balaram and kicked his chest with his hind legs. At first, Balaram did not say anything, but with great anger, the demon kicked him again more vehemently. This time, Balaram immediately caught hold of the legs of the ass and with one hand, and wheeling him around, threw him into the treetops. While he was being wheeled around by Balaram, the demon lost his life. Balaram threw the demon into the biggest palm tree about, and the demon's body was so heavy that the palm tree fell upon other trees and several fell down. It appeared as if a great hurricane was passing through the forest, and all the trees were falling down one after another. This exhibition of extraordinary strength is is not astonishing because Balaram is the personality of Godhead known as Ananta Sheshana, who is holding all the planets on the hoods of his millions of heads. He maintains the whole cosmic manifestation exactly as horizontal and vertical threads holding the weaving of a cloth.
Wow, dramatic. Dramatic reading as well. Would you like to read one more?
Okay. After the demon had been thrown into the trees, all the friends and associates of Dhenukasur immediately assembled and attacked Balaram and Krishna with great force. They were determined to retaliate and avenge the death of their friend. But Krishna and Balaram caught each of the asses by the hind legs and, exactly in the same way, wheeled them around. Thus they killed all of them and threw them into the palm trees. Because of the dead bodies of the asses, there was a panoramic scene. It appeared as if clouds of various colors were assembled in the trees. Hearing of this great incident, the demigods from the higher planet showered flowers on Krishna and Balaram and beat their drums and offered devotional prayers.
Wow, I love that bit. Thank you. Okay, so how does this paragraph begin? This first paragraph. So what kind of attitude do you envision Lord Balaram going into this forest? What kind of words come to your mind?
Confident, strong.
Yeah, definitely. Macho, right?
Puffed up.
Really like,
Yeah,
you know, sorry?
you're saying puffed up, yeah.
Yeah, puffed up. Yeah, anyone else? Anyone else want to take a chance to glorify Lord Balaram in this way? Just say one word.
Distant of Elephanta.
Yeah, that's a nice point, yeah. So it's actually mentioned here, isn't it? Comes in like an elephant. So yeah, you can even say, you know, like full of ego, isn't it? What are you doing here? You know? Anyone else?
It felt like an earthquake.
Yeah, so that was so I didn't see who the speaker was. Sashi Mataji. Yeah. Who was creating an earthquake there?
Was it Balaram when he's walking? Or was it Krishna? I'm not quite sure.
That's okay. No, you're right in that there was like an earthquake motion happening. So Dhenukasura, he was retaliating. So we'll move on to that part now. Yeah. So he was feeling threatened, right? Otherwise, why would he come in shaking the ground? Right? Balaram's coming in like, as it said here, like an elephant. So then Dhenukasura is like, he's actually out of fear that he's feeling like I have to show myself as being more superior. You know, it's the nature of bullies, isn't it? That if you make them feel threatened, then they feel that they have to, you know, show their prowess.
Yeah, I've got it now. Sorry, I lost the sentence when you were asking me.
No, that's well observed. Though it was like an earthquake. Dhenukasura was like that. And so then there was a battle that ensued. And so we can see why this chapter is now all about Lord
Balaram.
Balaram.
It's all about Lord Balaram, this chapter. Okay, and how does he slay Dhenukasura? How does he defeat Dhenukasura? How does he kill him?
Holding his hind legs and throwing him.
Okay. And in the detail there, when does Dhenukasura die?
While he's being spun.
Yeah. So that's pretty vicious, isn't it? So yeah, don't mess with Lord Balaram. He didn't even hit the tree. He was already finished off just by the spinning around. It was that intense.
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
You described one of the qualities of Lord Balram as egoistic.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if we could describe him. I mean, is he supposed having an ego is an anartha?
Yeah, well observed. So there's two aspects of ego. There's the real ego, and then there's the not real ego.
False ego.
False ego.
False ego. Right. So has anyone heard of false ego before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Prabhupada talks a lot about false ego, doesn't he? Isn't it?
Yeah.
What does it mean, false ego? What does ego mean? Ego means identity, actually. Or it means a sense of identity. I don't know the dictionary definition. This is how I understood. Ego means like a sense of identity. Or if we say it's a false sense of identity, then what is our false identity? Why does Prabhupada talk so much about false ego? What does it mean when he says false ego?
When we identify ourselves with the body?
Yeah, good answer, yeah. That's how I understood it as well. That when Prabhupada says false ego, it's not good to have ego, it's not good to have false ego. That's what Prabhupada would mean. So it's not good to have a sense of bodily identification, to think, you know, I'm great because I can do this and that, because that's all related to the body and the mind. So that's not very good. But Balaram's ego isn't false ego, it's real ego. Because he really is Lord Balaram, and he really can do that. Huh? So when we think of our ego and what we can and can't do, that all gets taken away at the time of death, or sooner in many cases. So that's not our real self. It's not our real ego. But this is Lord Balaram, and he can do whatever he likes. And we have to accept that he's the Supreme Lord. Just like those impersonalists, they realized, even though they had so much knowledge and everything, they realized that actually here is the Supreme Lord. And they bowed down to him. Those trees, they bowed down to Lord Balaram, realizing that his actual ego, his real identity was the Supreme Lord. Was the Supreme Lord, is the Supreme Lord, and always will be, because that's eternal. That's his real identity. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So then he can be the real, he can be the real master. He's the real master, he's the real controller, and he's also the real enjoyer. So that's his real position. So we've discussed how Lord Balaram has defeated Dhenukasura. So this is no problem for him, because Prabhupada gives the example of how he's Ananta Seshanag. So who's Ananta Seshanag?
Balram.
That's right, yeah. And in what particular form does he have there?
Many-headed hoods of a serpent.
Yeah, yeah. And for what purpose does he take that form?
To hold the earth.
Yeah, to hold, actually, yeah, the earth and even more. So here is said, what does he hold here? Let's explain.
All planets.
The whole cosmic manifestation.
Yeah.
So everything in all the material universes together, not just this one universe, but all the material universes together, are considered to be the cosmic manifestation together. And how does it appear that he's holding those? In the last sentence of that paragraph.
It's like a cloth, so
Weaving,
how the
weaving.
weaved.
Yeah. I find that kind of, how do we understand that? So we're wearing clothes, right? Which have got weaves in them. They're very fine, isn't it? If you're wearing like
Yeah, I was
cotton,
just going to say.
yes.
I was just going to say it's a bit difficult. It's a bit difficult to put that together, like the Anantya Shesh, and then like the metaphor that they've used here. Like, you know how they're saying it's like cloth, the horizontal and vertical threads. It's like difficult to put Anantya Shesh and that together. Yeah, because I could see where it's like the vertical threads because of all these different hoods, all the different heads holding the different planets, all the planets, different planets. But then where does the horizontal part come in?
All right. Yeah, I understood in a slightly different way. And my explanation or understanding may not be perfect, but I'll have a go. See, the way I understood it was just like you have with a cloth, you have the threads going horizontally and vertically, right? So if you have a shirt, you can see if you look very closely, or blouse, you see that there's threading, isn't it? There's stitching. Yeah. So like that, there are many universes. You know, there are many levels, many universes. And so from our point of view, so many universes is very large, isn't it? But when you see just the threading on a shirt, even though there's so many threads, the shirt is like weightless, isn't it? That's how I understood it. You know, like you have a handkerchief, you know? You have a handkerchief and there's so many threads on there, but you don't consider the handkerchief, well, you know, 10,000 thread handkerchief, or, you know, it's just very light. It's very comfortable. No problem.
Okay,
so this
I
is,
get it. I get what you're saying.
Does that make sense?
Like weight, yeah, like weight wise, yeah. Flow wise as well.
Yeah. So this is how I understood that. So there's many universes, and they're all woven together in that way. They're all kept together on the head of Balaram.
It's also explained well in quantum physics that the space is like the cloth. It's like a netting. It's like a woven cloth, and
really?
The various universes are the blobs there. It doesn't explain on the Sheshnag's hood, but the fabric is like the woven fabric that is just mentioned here. On which
that's
the
interesting.
universe is based.
So scientists, they explain things in that way, that the universe is fabricated. Interesting. Okay.
It's the space, the dark matter, the space is the cloth on which the universe is. I probably dig out that reference.
Yeah, if you're able to, that'd be interesting. Yeah, like we could say a lot about scientists and their theories. They believe in dark matter, and they believe that's superior to physical matter, isn't it? But we believe that this dark blue boy is superior to matter, and he's the one who's holding everything up. Or as is said here, more specifically, Lord Balaram. So we can see that these stupid asses, they don't know who they're messing with, isn't it? Dhenukasura and his troops. I'm only using the words which are in the book, by the way. So I was going to explain how this Dhenukasura got himself into this mess. in his previous life, because it's said that Dhenukasura in his previous life was the son of Bali Maharaj. Does anyone know who Bali Maharaj is? Oh, I just realized we're over time. Would you be okay to stay on for a little longer? Appreciate if anyone needs to go.
Yes.
Just seeing the time, we're over time already. Linisha and Ammu Mataji, are you okay to stay on for a little while for the
Yes,
recording?
Prabhu. It's fine, Prabhu.
All right, great. I'll just finish with this point then, and then we can have the japa, which we promised you. Okay, I'll try and make it really quick then. So, actually, the son of Bali Maharaj, his name was Sahashika. Bali Maharaj, he appears in the pastime of Vamanadev. Vamanadev is the incarnation of Krishna, who takes 3 gigantic steps and takes the entire universe back from Bali Maharaj, who took it from Indra. He fought with Indra, took the universe, and the Lord took it back from him again. But then Bali Maharaj became a devotee of Krishna, and so Krishna blessed him. Actually, Krishna blessed his grandfather, or his even great-grandfather, who was Prahlad Maharaj. Isn't it? Nrsingadev, he blessed Prahlad Maharaj that, 14 of your generations will all be liberated because you're such an excellent devotee. So one of those generations was this Sahashika we're talking about. So this is interesting because this personality, Sahashika, being the, let's say, great-grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, he was eligible to be liberated, right? So he had a free ticket back to Godhead. Yeah. So sometimes when something is given to you very cheaply, then you tend to take advantage of it, isn't it? Just like we're told, you just chant these 3 words and you go back to Godhead. Hare Krishna Rama, Hare Bol. Chant the Hare Krishna mantra. But we don't take it cheaply. He took it very cheaply, that he was to be liberated. So he was going around, it's a long story, but he was going around and committing sinful activities, and he became cursed that he would become a demon in his next life. But also, he offended Durvasa Muni, and so Durvasa Muni, knowing that he was going to be liberated, and knowing that Krishna had given him this benediction, had to honor it. So he cursed him to be an ass in his next life, a donkey. And Krishna honored that by not killing him. Krishna didn't kill him personally, so then Balaram killed him. And this is why Balaram actually kills this demon. Because Krishna promised, I will liberate 14 generations of the family of Prahlad, which include this person. And so Krishna didn't kill him, but still he had to be killed. So what Krishna doesn't do, Balaram will do. So you can't get out of it that easy. So that's in a nutshell. Does that make sense? I've summarized it pretty quickly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
So that's from the Garga Samhita. All right. And so we wanted to end in these meetings in the month of Kartik with a round of japa. So I hope you have your japa beads with you. We can chant 1 round together, which may take as a group maybe around 10 minutes or less. So we can all, maybe if we can all just put the microphone on and we can all chant together as a group. Not too fast, not too slow. Maybe we can just start a little slow, but then pick up to a normal pace. Usually it may be possible to stay together in the same mantra, but it's not always possible. So Invariably will finish at slightly different times. So is everyone ready with your japa beats?
Yep.
Japa mala, yeah? Okay. Let's all begin. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Rama Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Rama Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna.
Please continue if you're still chanting.
Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna.
You just want to wait on the line for a moment for those of you who finished. So I have a final announcement to make. First of all, I just want to say that was really, really nice chanting together.
It was. Yeah,
You liked that also?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
good.
nice. Really nice.
Really enjoyable.
Yeah,
It's different, isn't it? When you chant as a group.
yeah.
For me, I feel
There
more.
is less distraction when you chant with a group. I felt I was connected much better than when I do it alone.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Does anyone else?
More focus. Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
definitely.
Yeah, I feel more. How do you say? I feel like I'm more conscious of what I'm doing because because we're here as a group. So that's very nice. So I hope we can do that again next week.
Yeah.
I had one announcement just to finish with. Of course, we're going to be again here as a group next Tuesday. But I wanted to announce that my wife, Bhakti Priya Radhika, is conducting a program as well, a Zoom meeting for the Kartik month, and I'll send the details out on the WhatsApp group right after this meeting. So look out for that. Essentially what it is, she's organizing a meeting for you to host with your friends and family so that they can offer candles to Lord Damodar. So a virtual meeting, which you can choose a day of your liking, either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday, where you can invite your family to a Zoom meeting and invite her or some of her co-hosts, and they will conduct a Damodar offering, a candle offering. They'll sing the Damodar Astakam, they'll tell the pastime of Lord Damodar, and they'll explain the significance of the Kartik month, and then do candle offering with everybody. So this is something which is very wonderful to do with your family members, your loved ones, your friends, and introduce them. This is a really great way to introduce people to Krishna consciousness, because the benefits of offering a candle in this month are multiplied, and the benefits of doing any devotional service are multiplied in this month of Kartik. And so we make very, very fast spiritual advancement in this month. Especially, Prabhupada said, I'll just end with this actually, that the month of Kartik is like a sale. Krishna is giving us a spiritual sale. Prabhupada said that. For those who are regular shoppers, they will shop all year round, isn't it? If we are going to the shops, you know, we have our favorite shop, doesn't matter, sale or no sale, we'll go there. But then the shop holds a sale to attract new customers. So in that way, Krishna brings the month of Kartik to attract new devotees. So as practicing devotees, this is an opportunity for us to reach out to those people who are not experiencing bhakti yoga yet, who are not experiencing devotional service, Krishna consciousness. So it's a wonderful opportunity to invite new people the month of Kartik. So I'll post those details in the group, and you please contact her back and arrange a program for yourselves, book yourselves in. One of the days is Tuesday, so please don't book Tuesday because we have our meeting too. But if you pass this message on to other devotees who want to book the days in the week, then she's also available Tuesday.
What are the timings?
It's evening time. Let's just check. Sorry,
7 p.m.
Yeah,
7 p.m.
Okay.
evening time.
7 p.m. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So 7 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday for the month of Kartik. Okay. And it just consists of a short talk, the singing Damadastakam, and candle offering. So everyone will offer be able to offer a candle, and she'll explain how that's done as you.
So is she having programs on all 3 days, and you just choose whichever day you can?
So you book a slot with her, and then that day, like, you know, I don't know if it's the 12th of November, that will be your day with your group.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So there'll be multiple groups having different days, but you will have your
Okay.
day. You will co-host it with her, effectively.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Hari
thanks,
Bol,
everyone.
everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.